Hey, welcome to Ultimate Survival Tips. I'm David, coming to you from the bright and sunny, endless mountains of north central Pennsylvania. I'm really glad you stopped by, because today we're going to take a look at the newest addition to the Schrade Extreme Survival knife line, the SCHF10. I've been carrying and using this knife for several weeks now, so I can't wait to share with you how this knife compares to its very popular and bigger brother, the SCHF9, and a few other blades like the Gerber Grylls Ultimate Pro Survival Knife and the Becker BK2. Along the way, we'll take this knife up on the mountain and test it out as we chop, cut, slice, and break stuff. And as always, before we're all done, we'll talk about who this knife is for and who should look for a different blade. Okay, buckle up your seatbelt and let's get started. So about a year ago, I stumbled across the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife, SCHF9, and was amazed by the quality and usefulness of this knife for the money. Its stout build, thoughtful design, and outrageously low price for what you get about blew my mind and apparently the minds of many others. Because for about a year, Schrade couldn't keep up with demand for this knife. Although the SCHF9 is a pretty amazing knife, there were three small issues that some had with this blade. First, the handle is a bit thick for those with smaller hands like me. Next, the blade is a bit long for some tastes. And finally, the blade's not made of stainless steel, which can be a real problem in some situations. So when I saw the new Extreme Survival Knife SCHF10 had addressed all these issues, I knew I had to get one and give it a try. So the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife SCHF10 is a fixed blade, full tang, 100% fine edge knife that comes with a ballistic nylon sheath. This knife measures about 10.5 inches or 27 centimeters from tip to butt and weighs about 14.25 ounces or 440 grams. So the SCHF10 is about 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters shorter than the SCHF9 and about 2 ounces or 56 grams lighter. Now let's hone in and talk more about the blade. The SCHF10 has a fine edge, which means that there's no serrations on this knife. The length of the edge is about 5.3 inches or 13.5 centimeters compared to the SCHF9 at around 6 inches or 15 centimeters in length. So all in all, the actual edge length of the SCHF10 is not all that much shorter than the SCHF9. Although the blade of the SCHF9 looks a lot larger due to this large choil cutout, which the SCHF10 doesn't have. So the SCHF10 is a nice medium-sized knife with an edge that is a good bit longer than the Grylls Ultimate Pro knife, just a bit longer than the Becker BK2. This blade is covered in adorable and attractive dark black coating that's really held up well in our tests. The Extreme Survival SCHF9 is made out of 1095 high carbon steel, which is a hard, tough steel that makes a great survival knife, but it's not stainless, so it will rust if it's not cared for well. So Schrade responded to those who wanted an affordable stainless steel survival knife similar to the SCHF9 by making the SCHF10 out of 8CR13 Movi high carbon stainless steel. This steel is similar to 440B and AUS8 in critical areas of strength, hardness, corrosion resistance, and edge retention, so it's a good choice for a survival knife in this price range. Okay, so there's a lot of steel in this blade. In fact, the thickness of this blade is a solid 1/4 inch or 6.3 millimeters, and it's actually thicker than the steel used in the larger SCHF9. As you can see, like the SCHF9, SCHF10 is a full tang construction, which means the blade still runs the full length of the knife from tip to butt. Full tang is considered by most experts as the toughest, strongest, and most rugged way to build a knife. And this tang is beastly, so I can't even imagine what it would take to snap this blade. Let's talk about the blade design. The Extreme Survival Knife SCHF10 has a drop point blade, which means the spine side of the blade drops to meet the edge side at the point. Drop point blades are a good choice for utility survival knives because they form a strong, useful point suitable for a wide range of tasks. This knife is nearly 1.5 inches or 3.8 centimeters wide from edge to spine at the widest part, which is a bit wider than even the larger SCHF9. Now the edge of this knife is curved for the entire length, with a concave edge toward the handle, which turns to a convex curve as we approach the tip. The concave portion of this blade can give a little more cutting power than a straight blade alone, but makes sharpening with a stone a bit more tricky. Now because of this convex curve towards the tip, we've got a little belly to this knife, which seems to shift the weight and mass of this knife enough to really help with tasks like chopping. So here I am chopping a fairly good-sized tree on the back 40 to heat my home next winter. The knife did really well considering the tree was bursting with sap and a little oversized for this tool, which really means I'd take a hatchet or an axe any day, but you can chop a tree with this knife if it's the only tool you have. Now out of the box, this knife came pretty sharp, and throughout our testing this knife held a nice edge and continued to easily cut, slice, skin, and chop stuff. Now on the spine side of the blade we have this jimping. Jimping is usually a series of notches in the blade steel or handle that helps provide additional grip. Now we have 3 sets of jimping on this handle. There's one set on the back of the blade for your thumb and forefinger, another set on the top of the handle, and an additional set on the bottom side of the handle. Now the handle of this knife curves nicely on the top and bottom and has these finger cutouts that fit my hand really well. Now we have these textured contoured micarta handle slabs that attach to the tang of the knife with 2 hex bolts. Micarta is known as a tough material, and mine proved this by surviving a lot of torture. Now the SCHF10 handle is pretty hard compared to the SCHF9 handle, but it's actually about as grippy because of the multi-directional notch pattern on the SCHF10 handle slabs. These grips are really tough, yet do a good job channeling water and sweat, make it pretty easy to keep a hold of this knife. One more cool thing about this handle. It can easily be removed and replaced with your own custom creation, or you can take a shot at wrapping the handle in paracord to increase the usefulness of this knife in a survival situation. Now on the butt end of this knife we have a lanyard hole, but no official pommel. However, since the tang is exposed, I found it pretty easy to break and smash things with the butt of this knife. Now the knife is well balanced with a center of gravity right around where my forefinger wraps around the handle. So even though this knife is not light, it doesn't feel heavy either. Because of the balance, it's very maneuverable in my hand. And although the SCHF10 is not designed to be a throwing knife, its balance and handle make it throwable. So here I am with this knife and my SOG throwing knives. So as you can see, the SCHF10 is certainly throwable with some practice. Okay, let's talk about the sheath. Now if the SCHF10 is an exceptional knife, the sheath is pretty average by comparison. This sheath is made out of black ballistic nylon with what seems to be pretty good stitching all around. The knife sheath is reinforced and stiff so the knife shouldn't poke through it anytime soon. The sheath is made to receive the knife mainly for right hand belt carry, but the knife can be put in the sheath for left hand carry. It just won't seat the whole way due to the angled lip of the sheath that matches the angle of the grip when it's stored for right hand carry. Now the knife is held in a sheath only with this Velcro closure strap, which is about as good as the strap on the Grylls Ultimate Pro Sheath. But you will need to secure the handle with a strap every time you carry this knife, or it's going to fall out sooner or later. Then you'll cry, send me an email, and I have to say I told you so. Now this sheath is designed for belt carry only. It doesn't have any MOLLE straps or webbing like the sheath of the SCHF9 does. But you can use this sheath with just about any belt, military or otherwise, up to about 3 inches in width. Okay, now on the front of this sheath, we have a small pouch that can fit some survival gear like a small sharpener, a magnesium block with fire steel, a small multi-tool or pocket knife, maybe a pocket survival guide, and some other small survival essentials. So the sheath is functional, but pretty average, and nothing to really get excited about. Now owners comment on this knife's beastly construction, good looks, and overall usefulness, and the pretty good quality stainless steel that makes this knife suitable for use in any weather or climate. Some knock the sheath, but overlook its shortcomings because of their happiness with the knife, and we agree. We rate the Schrade Extreme Survival knife at 4.5 out of 5 stars in the sub $50 price range category for its stout, rugged build, ridiculously thick 1/4 inch stainless steel, for how solid and comfortable it is in the hand, its well thought out functional and attractive design, and its overall performance in the field. We take off half a star for its very average nylon sheath because the concave portion of the edge towards the handle is a bit challenging to sharpen with a stone, although this curve does increase the knife's cutting ability in many situations. So who's this knife for? Schrade Extreme Survival knife, SCHF10, is a well thought out, stout, and pretty darn good knife that would make a great gift as well as a capable primary or secondary survival knife. It's a good choice for camping, backpacking, hunting, day trips, bug out bags, emergency kits, bushcraft for just about anyone who wants a ridiculously low-priced, nearly indestructible knife that looks as good on your shelf as it does on your belt. For a larger, equally stout and affordable survival knife, check out my review of the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife, SCHF10. If you want more of a survival package and a bit better blade steel, and like Grylls, check out my review of the Grylls Ultimate Pro Knife. For an equally beastie blade that's a bit more pricey, but a perennial favorite among bushcrafters, check out the K-Bar Becker BK2. We've just taken a look at the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife SCHF10. For your convenience, I've included links to all the gear that I've mentioned in the video description on YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more gear reviews, survival tips, and survival news, check out ultimatesurvivaltips.com. While you're there, grab our monthly survival e-mag, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter to get the latest news and be the first to hear about the great gear giveaway contests we have planned. Okay, this is David. I hope to see you on the other side, and remember, be prepared because you never know.